Picture this. It's a Friday night. You're scrolling through an endless sea of movie options, hoping to stumble upon something that isn't just another formulaic blockbuster. Now, imagine you land on a film you've never heard of. Maybe the title is quirky, or the poster art seems endearingly low budget. You hesitate, but curiosity gets the better of you. You press play, not expecting much. What unfolds, though, is a rare and delightful surprise, a cinematic gem that manages to captivate, inspire, and leave a lasting impression. This is the magic of rolling the dice on the unexpected. Our focus today is one such hidden treasure, the Peanut Butter Falcon. Released in 2019, this indie adventure comedy managed to fly under the radar for many, despite its profoundly heartwarming story and a truly unique cast. The film tells the story of Zack, a young man with Down syndrome, who dreams of a life beyond the walls of the residential nursing home where he lives. His one great ambition is to become a professional wrestler, just like his hero, the saltwater redneck. So, with a little help from his elderly roommate, Zack makes a daring nighttime escape, clad only in his underwear, and sets off to find the wrestling school of his dreams. Along the way, he forms an unlikely and powerful bond with Tyler, a small-time outlaw on the run, played with raw vulnerability by Shia LaBeouf. Together, they embark on a modern-day odyssey down the waterways of North Carolina, building a makeshift raft and navigating the challenges of the wilderness. They are pursued by Eleanor, a kind but firm caregiver from the nursing home, who eventually finds herself drawn into their unconventional journey. What follows is a story of friendship, freedom, and the discovery of a chosen family in the most unexpected of places. What makes the Peanut Butter Falcon stand out in a sea of Hollywood productions isn't just its unconventional premise, but its soul-stirring authenticity. The film's directors, Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz, drew inspiration from their real-life friendship with Zak Gottsagen, the actor who so brilliantly plays Zack. In fact, the entire film was written specifically for Gottsagen, whose own fierce determination to become a movie star mirrors his character's aspirations. This isn't your typical casting story. The directors met Gottsagen at a camp for actors with disabilities, and his charisma and talent left such a profound mark that they spent years crafting a script worthy of his debut. And that gamble paid off. The Peanut Butter Falcon was shot on a modest budget, with much of its cast and crew working for far less than their usual rates, simply because they believed in the project. Yet the film radiates a warmth, sincerity, and a sense of adventure that big-budget films often struggle to capture. Critics praised its performances, particularly Gottsagen's, and audiences responded with standing ovations at film festivals. The movie went on to become the highest-grossing independent film of 2019, earning over $23 million worldwide. This is the kind of movie that reminds us why it's worth taking a chance on a story that comes straight from the heart. The plot of the Peanut Butter Falcon unfolds not with complex twists, but with the gentle, meandering rhythm of the river its characters travel upon. The story begins by establishing Zack's confinement and his burning desire for freedom. His escape is both comical and desperate, immediately endearing him to the audience. He finds himself stowed away on the boat of Tyler, a troubled fisherman who has just committed a minor act of arson against his rivals and is now on the run himself. This chance meeting sets the stage for the film's central relationship. At first, Tyler is reluctant to take Zack on, seeing him as a burden. But Zack's unwavering optimism and simple, direct worldview begin to break through Tyler's cynical exterior. Their journey is punctuated by a series of beautifully crafted vignettes, learning to swim, sharing a jar of peanut butter, and establishing a set of rules for their adventure. Rule number 1 being, "Don't slow me down." These moments build their bond organically, transforming them from strangers into something resembling brothers. The narrative avoids pity or condescension, instead focusing on the mutual respect and genuine affection that grows between them. The plot gains a new layer of complexity with the arrival of Eleanor, played by Dakota Johnson. Tasked with bringing Zack back to the care facility, she initially represents the rules and responsibilities of the world they are trying to escape. Her presence creates a gentle tension as she clashes with Tyler's reckless, freewheeling lifestyle. However, as she witnesses the profound connection between the two men and sees Zack thriving in a way she never saw at the home, her perspective begins to shift. She becomes less of a pursuer and more of a reluctant guardian, eventually joining their makeshift family on the raft. The narrative steadily builds towards its climax, reaching the wrestling school run by Zack's idol, the saltwater redneck. This final act doesn't rely on a shocking twist, but on emotional catharsis. The wrestling school isn't quite what Zack imagined, and his hero is a washed-up shadow of his former self. But in a moment of pure movie magic, Tyler and Eleanor convince him to help make Zack's dream a reality. The final wrestling match is a beautiful, chaotic, and ultimately triumphant sequence. It's here that the external conflict, Tyler's pursuers finally catching up to him, collides with Zack's personal victory, leaving the audience with a powerful mix of joy and heartache and a deep sense of hope for this extraordinary found family. At the core of this film are three characters who feel less like fictional creations and more like real people you could meet on a dusty back road. They are the mavericks, the heartbeats of the story, and their chemistry is what elevates the Peanut Butter Falcon from a good movie to an unforgettable one. First, there is Zack, the soul of the film. Portrayed by Gottsagen, he is a character defined not by his disability, but by his fierce independence and unwavering belief in his dream. Zack refuses to be seen as a victim or a burden. He is funny, stubborn, and possesses a clarity of purpose that most people lack. When he declares himself the Peanut Butter Falcon, it's not just a funny wrestling name. It's an act of self-creation, a declaration that he will define who he is. Gottsagen's performance is a revelation, filled with natural charisma and emotional honesty. He is the film's moral compass, reminding everyone around him of what truly matters. Then we have Tyler, the wounded protector. Shia LaBeouf delivers one of the most powerful performances of his career, stripping away all artifice to portray a man drowning in grief over the loss of his brother. Tyler is a drifter, living by his own code, but his tough exterior masks a deep well of pain and a desperate need for connection. His relationship with Zack becomes his path to redemption. In teaching Zack how to be strong and independent in the world, Tyler learns how to forgive himself and open his heart again. The bond feels incredibly real, in large part because the friendship between LaBeouf and Gottsagen off-screen was just as genuine. Completing this unlikely trio is Eleanor. As played by Dakota Johnson, she is more than just a caregiver. She is a woman who has dedicated her life to a system of rules and procedures, perhaps as a way to protect herself from emotional risk. Initially, she sees Zack through the lens of his condition, viewing him as someone who needs constant protection. But the journey on the river forces her to see him as Zack sees himself, as a capable, determined individual. Her evolution from a rigid authority figure to a loving, supportive member of their family is subtle and deeply moving. She provides the grounding force, balancing Tyler's impulsiveness with a quiet strength and compassion that ultimately holds them all together. Together, these three characters form a perfect, imperfect family, proving that home isn't a place, but the people you choose to share the river with. Now, let's pull back the curtain and uncover 5 fascinating facts that reveal the heart and soul behind the making of the Peanut Butter Falcon. Fact number 1. The movie exists solely because of a promise. Directors Tyler Nilsson and Michael Schwartz met Zak Gottsagen at a camp for artists with disabilities. Zack told them his dream was to be a movie star, and they were so impressed by his talent and personality that they promised him they would write a movie for him. They had no money and no connections, but they spent the next several years crafting the script around Zack's strengths and personality, fulfilling a promise that would change all of their lives. Fact number 2. Shia LaBeouf's involvement was a matter of pure chance and determination. The directors, still struggling to get the film made, edited a proof-of-concept trailer. They found an email address for Shia LaBeouf's agent online and sent it with a hopeful message. Incredibly, LaBeouf saw it, loved it, and met with them. He signed on immediately, and his commitment was the key that unlocked the rest of the financing and casting for the film. Fact number 3. The powerful on-screen chemistry between Shia LaBeouf and Zak Gottsagen was forged through a real-life crisis. During a day off from filming, LaBeouf was arrested for public intoxication. He later said that the person who was most disappointed in him was Zack. That moment of letting his friend down was a major wake-up call for LaBeouf and deeply strengthened their bond. He has credited Zack with saving his life, and that raw, authentic connection is visible in every frame they share. Fact number 4. The film features some legendary wrestling icons. To make Zack's dream feel as real as possible, the filmmakers brought in 2 of the most famous names from professional wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts and Mick Foley. Their appearances lend an incredible layer of authenticity to the wrestling world Zack so desperately wants to join. For wrestling fans, seeing these legends on screen was a delightful surprise that honored the spirit of Zack's quest. Fact number 5. The film's beautiful, rugged setting is completely authentic. Instead of using studio sets, the movie was filmed on location in the Outer Banks of North Carolina and around Savannah, Georgia. The cast and crew embraced a run-and-gun style of filmmaking, often working on real fishing docks, in swamps, and on the water. This immersive approach gives the film its gritty, documentary-like feel, making the world Zak and Tyler travel through feel tangible and alive. It wasn't just a movie set, it was a real adventure. The legacy of the Peanut Butter Falcon extends far beyond its box office success or critical acclaim. What truly sets this movie apart is its profound and lasting impact on representation in the film industry, and its quiet reaffirmation of a more compassionate form of storytelling. It didn't just tell a story, it started a vital conversation. One of its most significant achievements is how it completely reframed the portrayal of characters with disabilities. For decades, Hollywood narratives often treated such characters as objects of pity, sources of inspiration for an able-bodied protagonist, or simply defined them by their condition. The Peanut Butter Falcon shattered that mold. It is a story that stars a person with Down syndrome, but it is not a story about Down syndrome. Zack's journey is universal. It's about friendship, freedom, and the pursuit of a dream. This distinction is revolutionary, providing a blueprint for more inclusive and humanizing storytelling. Furthermore, the film served as a powerful reminder of the appeal of earnest, heartfelt cinema in an era dominated by cynicism and spectacle. Its narrative structure is refreshingly simple, echoing the timeless American adventures of Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. It proved that a movie doesn't need massive explosions or convoluted plot twists to captivate an audience. All it needs is a genuine emotional core and characters you can truly care about. Its success as the highest-grossing indie film of its year sent a clear message to the industry. Audiences are hungry for stories with soul. The film also had a significant cultural impact on its cast. For Shia LaBeouf, it marked a celebrated comeback, a role that allowed him to channel his real-life vulnerabilities into a deeply resonant performance. For Zak Gottsagen, it was a launchpad. He became the first person with Down syndrome to present an award at the Academy Awards, breaking down barriers and becoming an inspiration for countless aspiring actors with disabilities. The film didn't just give him a role, it gave him a platform. Ultimately, the legacy of the Peanut Butter Falcon is one of authenticity. From a script written for a friend, to the real-life bonds formed on set, to its honest depiction of life in the rural South, the film is a testament to the power of telling stories that are true to the heart. It stands as a quiet masterpiece that continues to inspire filmmakers and audiences alike, proving that sometimes the smallest, most unassuming stories can leave the biggest mark on the world. All right, now it's your turn. We've journeyed down the river with Zak, Tyler, and Eleanor, and uncovered the incredible story behind this cinematic gem. Now I want to hear from you. As you listened, what was it that truly stood out and connected with you? Let's start with the characters. Did you find yourself drawn to Zak's infectious spirit and unshakable determination to define his own identity as the Peanut Butter Falcon? Or perhaps you connected more with Tyler's journey of redemption, watching a broken man slowly heal through an unexpected friendship. Maybe it was Eleanor's quiet transformation from a rule follower to a member of this wild, loving family that resonated with you the most. Each of them offers a different window into the heart of the story. Or maybe it wasn't a character, but one of the behind-the-scenes facts that really captured your imagination. Were you moved by the story of how the entire film began with a simple promise made to a friend at a summer camp? Did the real-life crisis and subsequent bonding between Shia LaBeouf and Zak Gottsagen make their on-screen relationship feel even more powerful to you? Sometimes, knowing the true story behind the fiction makes the experience all the more meaningful. Think about the moment or the detail that made you smile, or think, or maybe even tear up a little. Was it a specific line of dialogue, the beautiful sun-drenched cinematography of the North Carolina coast, or the triumphant, chaotic energy of that final wrestling match? So, as we wrap up, reflect on what made this story special for you. Which character's journey did you find yourself most invested in? And which of the fascinating facts about its creation surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We can't wait to read what part of this incredible story stole the show for you.